Imhotep, good afternoon, wherever you may be. My name is Clark, and welcome to Clark Vision 2020. And today, I want to talk about the science behind changing your body composition, trying to achieve that beach body, or whether you're just trying to maintain a healthy weight so you can have less pressure on your joints and everything works the way it's supposed to in your body. So, to fully understand this, we need to refer to a little bit of science for a moment. And I don't know how many people out there took physics. I know I sure the hell didn't when I was in school. But I did learn about the law of thermodynamics. And the first law of thermodynamics is simply about the conservation of energy adapted for thermodynamic systems. Now, you might ask, what is a thermodynamic system? You, me, your dog, anything that breathes and has a heartbeat is basically a system, a thermodynamic system. So the total energy of an isolated system is consistent, and this energy can be transformed from one form to another, but can either be created or destroyed. So, in layman terms, what does that mean? Basically, it means if you take in more calories on a daily basis than you burn, you're going to see the scale weight go up, an increase in body fat, and you just start feeling crappy. If your goal is to actually lose that weight, what you need to do is create what they call a caloric deficit. And that means that you are consuming less calories than you are burning. Okay? So, how do we figure all this out? Well, there's a couple things that factor in. Everybody has what they call a basic metabolic rate. And this can easily be found by going to a metabolic rate calculator on Google search or whatever. They'll find a calculator will pop up and tell you based on your height, your weight, and your activity level approximately how many calories you need to maintain. Now, if your goal is to lose body fat, you need to make sure that you create that caloric deficit. Should be somewhere between 250 and no more than 500 calories per day. If you cut it more than that, then you're going to start seeing a drop in body mass. Your body's going to think it's starving. It's going to hold on to body fat. You might look smaller, but actually pick up more body fat. So I don't think too many people out there are looking to do that. Now, if your goal is to get bigger, in my case, my son Isaiah, he's trying to play football this year, so we got to get some more size on him. So this is hard because he doesn't like to eat early in the morning, but I got to get him to consume way more calories than he's taking in, and I have him in the gym lifting crazy so he can try to add about 10 pounds before the season begins. And so, how do I know exactly how many calories are going to help me reach? I need to either add or subtract to reach my goal. Well, once you get that baseline from the metabolic rate calculator, it's going to probably be beneficial for you to get a calorie counter app. I like to use MyFitnessPal. It's an Under Armour thing. It's the free version, works just fine. No need in paying any money unless you want to. And if you enter the foods that you eat and drink, I must specify if you're drinking beer, if you're drinking pop, you got to put that in there because it all adds up. And if you want to reach your goals, you got to be able to hold yourself accountable. And a lot of people are like, I just don't want to take the time to do that. Well, that might be the case, but chances are, if you don't take the time to do that, it's going to be very difficult for you to achieve the desired results. In my career as a personal trainer, I found that the biggest obstacle for my clients was that food consumption. And most of my clients' goals were to actually lose weight and to tone up. And I had a few that actually wanted to get some hypertrophy, but those were the fun ones to work with. So the people that struggled with actually trying to lose body weight, I would check in with them on a regular basis because I gave them a basic guideline to follow for meals, and I gave them their exercises. They'd work out with me 2 to 3 times a week, and then they're supposed to work out on their own the rest of the time. So they were convinced that as long as they got in there and exercise, that they could go to happy hour a couple times a week, eat 2 or 3 meals out a week, and still see great progress. Only to find that when it was time to take measurements, that they had picked up 1 or 2 percentage points of body fat. Scale weight might have gone up a little bit or sometimes down and they got a little bit fatter. And just overall frustration. And so I would sit there and I'd ask them, okay, I know you're working out with me. Are you coming in on your own and working out? Most of the time, the answer was no. Okay, so those are some opportunities to actually create that caloric deficit that you're not taking advantage of. The other thing I would ask them is, let's go over your meals for the week. So, I wouldn't want to actually go for the whole week because if it was the end of the week, they probably couldn't remember that far back. But I would ask them, okay, what did you have for breakfast? Boom, lunch, boom, dinner. And so I do the math and see either they had way too many calories or there was too much space in between the time that they actually ate. My most successful client, she was able to lose 84 pounds over the course of the year. And for those first 2 weeks, it was a struggle. But because of a scare she had and had to be rushed to the hospital, she decided it was time to get serious. So she got rid of all the processed foods in her house and she started following the outline of the meal plan I gave her. And she worked out harder than any other client that I ever had work out. And the weight started dropping off, and you could see her confidence grow when she'd look in the mirror and say, hey, it looks like I got a little tricep definition popping off here. And I'd be like, yeah. And so next thing you know, she's down 84 pounds, looks like a totally different person. And bottom line is, she told me I probably saved her life. And so that's what it's about, people. It's not about always eating to satisfy, your stomach cravings. We got to eat for life. That's why the Creator made us in the first place and provided everything that we need here. One of the biggest problems in that food consumption is become such a society of convenience. You have fast food restaurants on every corner. Kids are eating fast food meals 3, 4 times a week, if not a day. And I think back when I was a kid, back in the '70s and stuff, if we wanted to go to the McDonald's, we had to walk a country mile to get there because they weren't on every corner. And this was something that we did maybe once a week or once a month. I remember my parents would take us out to dinner at a restaurant, but now it's not it's not uncommon for somebody to go out to eat 2 or 3 times a week and might hit up a couple happy hours. Well, now that they put the calorie content of the meals on most menus, you can actually get some idea of what the problem is. Because say that you're that 5'4", 130-pound woman, and your caloric need for an active lifestyle is between 1,700 and 1,850 calories. You go out to eat 2 or 3 times a week, with the average meal being somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 calories on the menu, and that one meal will put you at or over your limit, for the day. And if you do this at breakfast, I have a hard time believing that you're going to be able to make it through the rest of the day and only take in 1 or 200 calories. It just simply does not work that, people. We are what we eat, energy in versus energy out. Figure out what your metabolic requirements are. Consult a trainer. Friends of mine, my BFit crew, holler at me in the gym. I'll hook you up with some information while it's still free. And let's see what we can do. Let's knock this out together, y'all. Peace.